Hey, everybody, welcome to the Dan Podcast. My name is Jordan Burt. I'm your host. I have two great friends helping me out today. I got Jake McAnally and Brandon Ashmore. Okay, so today is our first ever podcast. And, I'm super excited, guys. I don't know about y'all too, but this is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time and everything. And everybody always comes to me asking me and to talk about MCU stuff. So here we go. All right, so our first topic today that's been asked a lot about is WandaVision. Okay. I don't know if all of y'all have been watching it and whatnot. I have been investing, staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch it. Woo, guys, Brandon, Jake, how do y'all feel about it so far?
I feel like a little bit underwhelmed with the previous weeks, but I think it's building up to a ginormous climax that we are not prepared for.
I completely agree. Brandon, yours?
Yeah, I definitely agree. This finale is about to be something crazy.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think that what I really can appreciate from WandaVision is just the fact that it's just so different than anything Marvel's done before. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
and I completely agree with both of y'all. Y'all hit it right on the dot. I definitely like the approach they took it with the sitcoms. I know that Kevin Feige in the beginning, he said there's a specific reason why they did the sitcoms. And, we just got done with episode 8, correct? If I'm not mistaken, it was episode 8,
Yeah.
where they did like a flashback kind of scene to kind of explain some stuff. And that's where you really understand why all this stuff is really happening and everything, and why, we get the Dick Van Dyke sitcom and then the Bewitched and all that, the Brady Bunch, The Office, Modern Family, and all that. So, okay, so there was a couple questions that were asked specifically about WandaVision that a lot of people were emailing me about, and it was basically asking like, who's Agatha Harkness? Okay, so far I know y'all two really haven't read much about Agatha Harkness in the comic books, but basically she's a witch that is a friend slash enemy to Wanda, and that's how she was in the comic books and everything. So I kind of see how it kind of plays out a little bit in the TV and the series and right now. And my opinion about it is it's like, I kind of called it at the very beginning when she just showed up out of nowhere knocking on the door. Guess who? The nosy neighbor, So what are y'all thoughts about Agatha Harkness? You think she's like truly evil, truly nice, kind of playing a little bit of the both sides?
I don't know. I feel like she has her own motives when it comes to the things that she wants. I wouldn't say she's the worst villain, but I wouldn't say she's the best person to be around and have in your life. But one of y'all explain, are they different witches? Like, I know of witches, and like they're kind of like
Yeah,
have some witchcraft going on. So like, where do they come from, and like, where's this divide? Because they don't really do the same thing.
I got you. Brandon, do you have any information on that?
I don't. I mean, this is really kind of the first time we've seen like really just witch stuff in
Yeah.
the MCU for the most part. So this is kind of new.
Okay. Well, to kind of explain to Jake and to you, Brandon, too, and everybody else that's a little confused on the magic. So Agatha Harkness has like the real witch magic. This is basically this is in the comic books. It's just witch magic is all it is. And with Wanda, I know she says you're a Scarlet Witch. Spoiler alert for everybody who hasn't seen episode 8, but says you're the Scarlet Witch, which means she's basically a chaos magic based witch, which kind of gets a little fuzzy just because the reasons why she's called the Scarlet Witch is because she can warp reality. Hence the everything that's happening in WandaVision right now, her being able to change things like that and whatnot and manifest Vision. I mean, come on now. Like, I thought she done took Vision's body. Here to come to find out, it's a part of her making Vision come to life as a form of himself. And it's just crazy. But that's how it was in the comic books. But the comic books, how they're going around a little bit different, at least in episode 8, when we saw Wanda interact with Hydra and Baron von Strucker and getting tested with the Mind Stone in the staff and Loki's staff. It looked to me at least from my opinion, that the Mind Stone just kind of cracked something open or unlocked something that was already there. From what Kevin Feige released a couple days ago, right after WandaVision episode 8 came out, was that she was already a witch or a mutant, which that's what she was in the comic book. So they're just kind of toying around, putting little bits and pieces of like X-Men kind of thing and whatnot, because in the comic book, she's Magneto's son. Yeah. Or not son, daughter, sorry. But Quicksilver is his son too. So I don't know if Kevin Feige is like putting little Easter eggs here and there to kind of throw us off and give us what we want and everything. But that was another question too with the X-Men. Do y'all think we're going to get X-Men anytime soon in this series, like with the finale coming up?
If it's anything like the last one, I hope not, for everyone else's sake. But that's my opinion.
Why, Jake?
Yeah, give me your opinion. Come on.
I don't know. I feel like, well, it depends on who does it, who like produces it. Because if it's anything like the one that we had when we were growing up, like when we were younger, trash. It's just it just wasn't that great. And I feel like everything that Marvel touches right now, it's like they cannot miss. They have to try to fail. And I don't know. I don't know. I just have personal preference, I guess, now, because Jordan is the one that got me into Marvel, because I'm just a casual fan. I'm not indie. So I don't know. I've kind of appreciated what Marvel does with movies now. And so I don't know. Hopefully they don't ruin it if they bring something else.
Well, it's actually funny because Kevin Feige, before he was the head guy at Marvel Studios, he actually helped make the first Spider-Man along with Spider-Man 2. And then he also helped out with the first X-Men movie back in 1999. So he had his little hand touches in making the X-Men. I think it was like X-Men 3 is when he departed away and, started doing his own thing, trying to make Marvel Studios a thing and everything. But from what Kevin Feige said, when Foxx was acquired by Disney back, oh gosh, that was like 2 or 3 years ago now that I'm thinking about it, in the summertime, that he's not touching X-Men anytime soon. He has a 5-year plan after Endgame that already included Spider-Man Far From Home and Black Widow and Eternals and all this and whatnot, then Disney Plus happening with all their series happening, that he's not doing X-Men or Fantastic Four within this 5 years. Now, granted, he could change his mind. That's, everybody's human. They can change their mind like that. But I think in the hands of Kevin Feige and his storytelling of each movie and connecting the overarching storyline, I think we will get a very well-deserved reboot of X-Men and Fantastic Four, which, speaking of Fantastic Four, let's talk about some cameos here. So a lot of people have been saying that Mr. Fantastic is going to be showing up as the engineer, because they're saying we didn't really see the engineer that was introduced or being talked about between Monica Rambeau and Agent Wu. So how do y'all feel about Mr. Fantastic just showing up?
So I don't think Mr. Fantastic is going to show up right now, kind of for various reasons. Kind of the first reason is the fact that I think that they started filming WandaVision before they got the rights to Fantastic Four. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that X-Men and Fantastic Four, whenever Disney bought Foxx out two or 3 years ago, the rights went right back to them. So
okay,
yeah,
okay. So that's wrong. But I don't think that it'll be Mr. Fantastic. But I have been hearing rumors about this character called Blue Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all heard of him? Y'all
yes,
familiar with him?
Yes, I have. So, yeah.
I'll kind of explain it. So basically, like in the comics, Blue Marvel is like, I know that he has a relationship with Monica Rambeau in the comics, and he's also kind of like, super smart, genius, intellect, engineer kind of person. And his story is he's basically created kind of like if Superman were black, and they kind of explored like the problems that would come about because of, it took place in the 60s and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, he was like a genius intellect, and he had like crazy powers. And I think I'm not sure. This is all just kind of conjecture, but I think if they were going to go that route, then they would probably go after him. And then plus, there was like an interview where Tiana Paris, who plays Monica Rambeau, they kind of asked her like who she would love to see introduced in the MCU, and she brought up Blue Marvel and their relationship specifically. So if they ever end up really explaining who the aerospace engineer is, my best guess would be him. And personally, I wouldn't like to see Mr. Fantastic introduced in that way, just because I feel like he's just such a huge, major character that it just, to kind of throw him in just kind of off kilter like that would just kind of be kind of weird, unless they kind of did it to where they introduced him as just like a regular person first, and then he acquires his powers.
And see, I'm perfectly fine with that route anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that's gonna be how they take it, but we'll see.
Jake, your thoughts? Who would you think would or who would you like to pop up as a big cameo for the finale of WandaVision?
Well, the first Marvel movie that I really like genuinely enjoyed, because I saw the first Thor back in freshman year of high school, and it was all right. I was like, oh, this is cool, but Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
I don't know, something about it. I guess, do we have a definite timeline of like the upcoming movies to where it's like,
so
like, are maybe some options?
Well, so far, I mean, the only biggest way I can really explain it is that, like, scheduling wise for movie is like we're supposed to get Spider-Man No Way Home, which we'll discuss that here in a minute because that was a big old thing right there. We get that this year in December, which, from what Kevin Feige and everybody else who's helped with WandaVision and everything else, says that Doctor Strange, Spider-Man No Way Home, and WandaVision all starts with the multiverse, and that's what basically phase 5 is just repercussions of the multiverse, fixing or doing whatever, because Ant-Man 3 or whatever it's going to be called brings in Kang the Conqueror, who deals with nothing but time travel and reality traveling. So I think that Doctor Strange is the biggest bet. But in my opinion, from when Elizabeth Olsen got asked in an interview, who are they going to have like a big, Luke Skywalker kind of cameo with WandaVision? And all she said was yes. Didn't say anything besides that, which a lot of people are speculating, Doctor Strange, we're going to get his movie, but is it going to be the same caliber as, somebody new being introduced and all this? In my opinion, Benedict Cumberbatch is a phenomenal choice for Doctor Strange, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm perfectly fine with Doctor Strange showing up, but then some people, we know Doctor Strange is going to show up, and Wanda's supposed to be in Doctor Strange too. So
yeah, that's kind of my thinking for why Doctor Strange isn't the big cameo that they are talking about.
Yeah,
I
think he will show up, but there's going to be someone else too.
I agree. I'm sorry, say that again, Jake.
Would you think that with this being a TV show series, that it wouldn't be like a hero that has their own individual movie? It would just be a very major character that doesn't have a standalone film that would be introduced as the cameo? Because I mean, I wouldn't. Usually they introduce like the bigger characters at the ends of movies, right? And like, or like in the little ending,
the credit scenes,
the credit scenes. And so it's just like, I don't know if they would introduce such a major character again, like Doctor Strange, at the end of a TV show. I don't know that. I like surprises, so please be wrong. Doctor Strange, please.
No, I agree completely. And I think honestly with this whole Marvel series being introduced on Disney Plus, I think Kevin Feige said that these movies or series have budget size movie. Like everything that they do for each series put on Disney Plus costs millions and millions of dollars, just as much as a regular movie. Mm-hmm. So, I'm perfectly fine with, a small character being introduced and then later on having their movie, which from what Kevin Feige said, whenever we get to like a big Avengers movie where it includes if I can speak right, multiverse, having different versions of each character show up out of nowhere, mm-hmm. and all these characters from the TV series come into the movie side, because he said distinctly each character that is introduced in its own series will show up in a movie in some shape, form, or fashion. So kind of answers your question and gives a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so let's discuss like the whole episodes and everything. Episode 8 of WandaVision, I was mind blown. I'm perfectly happy that they went back and kind of showed us a few things that we really didn't get in Age of Ultron specifically. That movie, a lot of people hate it. It's a guilty pleasure by my choice. I love not WandaVision. I love WandaVision, but I love Age of Ultron too. Guilty pleasure. But like just the information and the details mm-hmm. that we got back about certain things and what led to Wanda and everything, completely masterpiece in my opinion. How do y'all feel about it?
I feel like it was huge for all the haters out there that were like, I don't know. I'm 3 episodes in and I'm just not entertained. You're entertained now. Like I just like, yeah. But like for me as a casual fan, I just felt like it was connecting a lot of dots mm-hmm. that I probably needed. And, it made me have a little bit of a sympathy for why Wanda is sort of a psychopath at times. But yeah.
Brandon, what about your opinion?
Well, for one, I think that having this backstory episode makes Age of Ultron that much better now, mm-hmm. because you can kind of see the background of what was going on. And I'm probably going to go back and watch Age of Ultron again now after watching episode 8 to kind of, kind of see it through that lens.
Yeah.
And then just going through all her traumas, which for one, can we talk about Vision's line where he was like, what is grief if not love persevering?
Oh my gosh, dude. That talk about tearjerker, dude. Oh my gosh.
He's up there with Thanos with those kind of quotes. Yeah, me feel something.
For real.
Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. I kid you not, like guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was like, yo, hold on, tear come down the eye real quick. Oh my gosh.
For real.
But yeah, no, like legitimately, a lot of people speculated like this episode was kind of going to be like a flashback kind of thing, which it was. Mm-hmm. And, I'm perfectly fine with that. It gives us details that we didn't know, that we were speculating, exactly how Wanda got her powers. Because in the Age of Ultron, it just said she got experimented on by Strucker and all them with the Loki staff. Okay. And it just gave them their powers. That's kind of odd, but I'm just glad that Marvel went back, and Marvel does this a lot and puts in little details that, a lot of people complain about, and, helps tell the overall story, if new ones, with characters that, have been around for a while. I mean, look at Endgame. Endgame went back and fixed a whole bunch of stuff that, were completely misinterpreted or was missed completely by fans, or fans were just outrageous about something and everything. So I honestly think this, like, and I told y'all this last week when we were trying to test it on Zoom and everything, that like each episode gets better and better and better every time, and I'm just like, how does this show do this? Kevin Feige has that formula, but it's just something about this show that I'm just hooked on into, and I'm emotionally invested in this. So
yeah, I don't know, he's got the magic touch. I don't know how he does it, but he just. Now, the one thing I will say is that these episodes have not been an hour like he promised.
That is also very true. And a lot of people were kind of upset, but don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm kind of okay with, short little episodes, like as like an actual TV series, like the show's supposed to be. but it really doesn't bother me that much if they're only like 38, 35, 40, 42 minutes, it don't matter. As long as you give me something that will make me want to come back the next week to completely watch the episode, I'm all for it.
I felt it was kind of intentional with the way that the first like 3 episodes were mainly focused on the sitcoms, like having it the length of a normal sitcom, and now it's just as things progress, it's gotten bigger. And I will say, this past Friday, when I saw that 45 minutes, I was like,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
But then we got played whenever that 45 minutes ended up being like 38 minutes of the actual show, and then the rest of it all like credit scenes. So yeah. So okay, cool. Anything else about the series that y'all just absolutely love about or want to discuss about or have any questions?
I don't get why people hate the sitcoms at the beginning. I like them.
Yeah.
I guess it's because I watched them growing up, and I like to see the interpretation. Granted, I had no idea why we were doing sitcoms that would change decades every week, but
yeah,
it's stuff I grew up watching, so I didn't have a problem with it.
And that's the love of episode 8, where it gives us the details of why we got the sitcom stuff happening and everything. So
here's why. Kevin Feige's like, here's why I tortured you for 3 weeks.
Basically, almost a month now. Actually, it is a month. It'll be a month next week. So, Brandon, you any thoughts on any other episodes or the whole series as a whole?
As a whole, I just gotta give it to Marvel, what they managed to do. And how they managed to fit so much like into each episode is crazy. I didn't mind the sitcoms either. I kind of enjoyed that, kind of just trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of like calling back to those sitcoms and, showing them respect by imitating them, but then also having them fit within the Marvel universe. It's really cool. So I didn't mind them. I also am kind of glad that this is the first thing that we see to start phase 4.
Phase 5. Yeah.
Is this phase 5? I thought this was.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you're completely right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of phase 5 stuff that we'll talk about that next week with phase 5 stuff that got announced.
Okay, it does lead into it.
Yeah. But, phase 4. Yeah.
I'm glad that this is the first thing we see, because it's like, it's something different than what we're used to. And I think that if it had started with Black Widow, which, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for the Black Widow movie. I'm definitely going to be in theaters to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think starting off with a prequel to Black Widow would have been a weird way to start off phase 4, which I guess when we see the movie, we'll see why.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad that it started with this instead.
Yeah. And, because of coronavirus really impacting last year for sure and everything, like they had to shut down production on Black Widow, the Eternals, WandaVision, Loki, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and everything, all this stuff. We were supposed to get all this stuff last year. Like it was supposed to be Black Widow was the first thing to be introduced. And then we're supposed to get WandaVision and then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Well, because of the Corona and everything, they had to kind of play around, which in all honesty, it kind of shocks me, because from what I was reading and what I was hearing was that Black Widow was supposed to tie into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. But now it's reversed. Like now we're getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier like a week or two right after WandaVision ends. And then we don't get Black Widow until later on. If I'm not mistaken, I think it comes out next year. If I'm correct,
I think I can't remember.
Is it this year? Okay, cool. Yeah, I knew Spider-Man comes out this year for sure, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head if Black Widow did. But yeah, because I think there were some elements in Black Widow that ties into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, how they play around with that. Which, by the way, I don't know if y'all saw the trailer that got released about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like an updated version of what we got from the Super Bowl and everything. Holy crap, man! Like. That just looks like straight up, MCU style drama heist kind of feel to it. And I'm all about it. But what really got me was, I don't know if y'all saw, was Sam Wilson in a black tux or black suit holding the Captain America shield.
You think that's a funeral?
I think it is a funeral. And I hate to say that, but you know, we got introduced. Yeah, exactly, Pain. But we got introduced to Old Man Cap at the end of Endgame, him passing on the shield, which a lot of people didn't realize this. When he passed that shield, it's not the same shield. It's a different shield. If you go back and look up pictures of Captain America's shield, you'll see little details that are completely different from the one that he had at the beginning of the movie and all from all his other movies and everything. I think that Cap, Old Man Cap, stole another Cap shield from a different reality or a timeline and everything. But yeah, no, I think we're going to see Captain America have a funeral, and I think that's going to play a big part in Black Widow and with the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. So I think that's a big thing. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but you know, that's something that caught my eye real quick.
Shouldn't have dropped that bombshell on me.
Hey, it's not. It's just speculation. It's just speculation, my guy. I have no information. Marvel has not sent me any emails telling me, this is the information we're going to do with this. I wish, but
they stopped taking your phone calls.
Yeah, Kevin Feige. I have Kevin Feige on speed dial. It goes straight to voicemail every time. So, okay. So the last thing that with WandaVision that I want to talk about is Mephisto. Everybody keeps saying, is Mephisto the big baddie of WandaVision? Because a lot of things in Agatha Harkness's chamber or witch chamber or whatever you want to call it, like there's like a little face of a devil kind of face put up on the pillar. I don't know if y'all saw that. Like when she's leaning up against it and everything, there's like a little face right there. It looks like Mephisto in the comic books a little bit. So a lot of people were putting that as like, little hints. And of course, she started talking to the rabbit. In the comic books, Mephisto can morph himself into animals. So a lot of people are speculating he's the rabbit. So I don't know. Did y'all guys see that, or have y'all seen any other hints towards Mephisto in this series of WandaVision?
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea who you're talking about.
Okay. I got you.
But I did see that rabbit, and I was kind of scared. Not going to lie.
Yeah. Especially when he ate the bug. So,
yeah.
Brandon, what about you? Did you catch any hints towards Mephisto or anything else with WandaVision going through?
Yeah, so I've kind of like always thought that it was Mephisto, like probably since the second or third episode. Like they kind of just had like little hints here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then now like seeing that chamber, I didn't see the devil face, but I did see kind of the like it was in episode 7, like when Wanda first walked in, there was like a cabinet behind her or something.
Yeah.
That was illuminated red, and there were like goat heads and stuff in it, is what it looked like. So just kind of, real creepy stuff. But as far as how Mephisto like ties into WandaVision, like, my theory for a while was that he was kind of the big baddie. And I think that, I don't know if he'll be introduced, which I don't know, maybe he could be the cameo, whoever's playing him.
That is also true.
But I think Agatha is definitely like drawing power from someone or something, like the book that she has.
And it's crazy that you say that, because a lot of stuff somebody asked me specifically, do you think Agatha Harkness gets her powers from Dormammu, if I can ever say it, Dormammu, from Doctor Strange from the first movie? Because her witch powers are purple. And of course, hers was different at the beginning of episode 8 when they did the flashback to the Salem trials and everything, witch stuff. And all the rest of the witches were like white and blue. Hers is purple. And then, of course, Wanda's is red. So a lot of people were asking me, do you think that she ties into Dormammu and then that ties into Doctor Strange and, ends up him coming to help and all that? So it's funny that you say that. I was about to ask that question, but you kind of brought it in. So yeah.
She's got to be drawing power from something. And then even when she took the witch's power, before she took him, I think like the head witch or whatever, it's like used power from like you stole knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it's like, what did she steal?
Yeah. And a lot of people are speculating that book from Doctor Strange. I don't know if anybody else, our audience, has seen little TikToks of Marvel stuff, but somebody sent it in to me. And it was the scene where Caecilius is stealing the ancient book. And there's like a freeze frame that somebody just clocked it right then and there perfectly. And you can see as he's taking the book down from the chains, there's a book right to the right corner, bottom right corner of it, and it's missing chains. And I don't know if y'all noticed that book in episode 7 down there in Agatha Harkness's thing. A lot of people are speculating that book comes from Doctor Strange and all, and the Ancient One and all them. So she could have been a rogue, I guess sorcerer in some sense, tying into Doctor Strange somehow. And that's how, everything gets, all put together with Marvel and all that. So yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, no, the Mephisto thing, I used to think Mephisto was the big baddie, but in all honesty, I really think Agatha Harkness is going to be, the overall big baddie, because as Brandon said, as she was like getting on trial and she started taking the powers away from all the other witches, and then kind of seeing that, and then seeing how she kind of walked with Wanda through all this trauma and series that she's been through, and asking, how did you do this? How did you create the X? How are you casting so many spells at one time? What's your secret in all this? I think, in all honesty, that Agatha Harkness is trying to take Wanda's powers. But then again, I'm saying Wanda is a mutant, and that's genetically encoded into her. But that's a whole nother speculation and everything that I think it's possible. But in all honesty, I don't think Mephisto is going to be the overall arcing villain of the series, in my opinion. So, give or take. All right, guys. Anything else on WandaVision that y'all want to talk about? Good. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our second main topic. And our second main topic is going to be Spider-Man 3, or AKA Spider-Man No Way Home. And guys, I was at work and I'm over here teaching general music. And the next thing I know, I'm getting my phone blown up by a whole bunch of people. Like, Jordan, the name of Spider-Man 3 just came out. And I'm like, whatever, because the day before, we had Tom Holland, Jacob, and Zendaya all post 3 different names for the Spider-Man movie, all to be false. And then all of a sudden that day when I'm at work getting all these messages, I got through lunch break, sat down, watched the 30-second video of Tom Holland coming out of John Watt's office at Marvel Studios. And he's like, man, they gave us all fake names for the movies. I don't know why. And then it was just a nice little funny thing because, Tom Holland spoils everything that he's involved in some shape, form, or fashion. Everything. So how do y'all feel about the name? Like, did y'all see the logo? When it's like the whiteboard and it's all like the expo marker kind of logo thing. How do y'all feel about it? Like, I love the name. I think the name fits perfectly along with Homecoming, Far From Home, and then No Way Home. I think it's just a perfect little trilogy of names. So how do y'all feel about it?
Well,
you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I like it. I like how like the names kind of build on each other. Like Homecoming is like, coming home, Homecoming. Then it's like, okay, now he's far from home. And now it's like, okay, now it's progressing to No Way Home, right? And I think it's kind of symbolic in that, things are never going to be the same for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So at the end of Far From Home, we saw his identity was revealed. So obviously his life's not going to go back to how it was. And then with it's supposed to fit in with the multiverse, kind of trilogy of projects. I think probably what we'll see is maybe him getting trapped in the multiverse and not being able to go home, like No Way Home, because he's, out of a different universe or something. So We'll see, but I like the name. I think it's concise. It's very symbolic, and I'm excited to see.
Same. I'm excited too. Jake, well, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel the same. Like after seeing the other two movies, the name of this movie kind of gives me the impression that I'm gonna be big sad in the movie theater.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to cry with Jordan this time but I might have to be. But I have to admit, I fell in the trap, and I thought that the names that like Tom Holland and Zendaya and all them released, I thought they were true. I fell for the phone home one, and I have to admit my sins here on the video for everybody to see. But I will not be fooled again. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And it's a crazy thing when you look at the whiteboard expo marker logo and whatnot. A lot of people are speculating that, there's been a lot of rumors talking about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire coming back and reprising their iteration of Spider-Man. And in that logo for No Way Home, there's like little bits and pieces of like each one of their distinctive webs from their movies and everything, because each webbing is different for some reason, But a lot of people are also speculating that we will see a live action iteration of Miles Morales, because if you actually take the webbing outline of where it says Spider-Man No Way Home and you take the webbing out and in its own context as a shape, and you put Puerto Rico on top, you look at a map of Puerto Rico, it is the exact same shape of the logo. So a lot of people are speculating that, Miles Morales, which he is part Puerto Rican, part African American. So a lot of people are speculating, we'll get, Tobey Maguire, we'll get Andrew Garfield, and then we'll get a Miles Morales iteration all tied into this movie, because it's been confirmed that what's his name? Alfred Molino, yeah, will pop up. Like he's on the stage and everything, doing his scenes as Doc Ock, reprising his role as Doc Ock. And then apparently William Dafoe has been seen on set as Green Goblin again. Now, granted, William Dafoe, when he first did that movie, Spider-Man 1, all the way back in 2001, he was a lot younger. Now he's a lot older, and, age kind of takes a toll on him. But I mean, he doesn't look too much older, but it's just like, are they going to de-age him like they did with, Hank Pym or Tony Stark in Civil War and all this and everything? But, I just think this movie, we really, truly do not know what this is. And it's just speculation that this is all multiverse things. But then again, it could really just be, Tom Holland's movie by himself. And then somehow with what's happening in WandaVision, what happens in Doctor Strange 2 multiverse, anything is possible. But a lot of people also were speculating that in the suit that's been pictured on set on the streets of Atlanta, that, in Far From Home, not Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he uses web cartridges. He makes his own webbing and everything. But in this picture on set on the street, this Spider-Man doesn't have web cartridges, and he doesn't have the web shooters on his suit. And everybody's speculating that, that's a scene or a hint towards Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I don't know how y'all would feel about that. And, I'm perfectly fine with having a pizza time with Tobey Maguire coming back as Spider-Man, because that was my first superhero, and that was the first superhero that I really connect with, and I think a lot of people do, in a sense of they can relate to how Spider-Man is. So, how do y'all feel about it? How do y'all feel about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back?
I want nothing more than for Tobey Maguire to show up knocking at the door with a box of pizza at his apartment or whatever. I don't know where this will be set, but I just need that. And then just at the end, maybe in the cutscenes. I need the dance scene.
Oh Lord, the emo Spider-Man dance scene. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Brandon, how about you, man? How do you feel about all these speculations and rumors?
Oh man, look, if I see Tobey Maguire show up, I might shed a tear. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Same. Same.
like Jake said, like I need that. Andrew Garfield, and I don't care. But Tobey Maguire, Tobey Maguire is who we need to see. Okay, even if if he could be maybe older or something and be a mentor for Tom Holland or something. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing I will say is that I hope that they do still focus more on Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Because I mean, by all means, it looks like this is going to be a massive movie
Mm-hmm.
if everything is like confirmed or how we think it's confirmed. But I hope that they still find the time to fit in like with Tom Holland's character development across the movies because I think one critique that people had of like the original Spider-Man 3 was just that it was just so jam-packed with so many characters and different
And I
storylines.
will say that's Sony's fault. That's the reason why we have Tom Holland as Spider-Man in the MCU. Just clarification.
Oh yeah. I definitely trust that the MCU will handle this a lot better than Sony.
Yeah.
But I just hope that they still manage to get Tom Holland's Spider-Man story across and that it's just not too much packed in.
And I agree. And a lot of people are saying, or that have been saying that work close to the set, apparently, is that if it is true that if Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire do come back, it would only be like a 10 to 15 minute cameo, which is fine with me because like you said, this is a lot of characters put into one movie. And like, don't get me wrong. Of course, I thought the original Spider-Man was, the best thing ever, the best superhero movie. But then as I got older and, we started getting different iterations and different superhero movies, it's kind of like, man, the storyline for Spider-Man 3 was kind of trash just because of the overload of characters. And that's mostly Sony's fault. And, but and of course they did the reboot with Andrew Garfield, which of course they did the same exact thing in Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They overdosed all these characters and really didn't give us much time that we needed as for Peter Parker / Spider-Man to, develop as a character and everything. And of course, the death of Gwen Stacy I think that was just way too early to introduce that. And I understand you're introducing Green Goblin or new Green Goblin and all that, and all these other characters, the Rhino and then Electro, which, that was another character I completely forgot. Apparently Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro in Spider-Man No Way Home. So, and that was confirmed last year when he posted a picture on Instagram and it was like, I will be returning, guys, but I won't be blue this time. So that's a hint towards he will actually have somewhat of a comic accurate costume, which I didn't mind him being blue, but I wish they would have did something a little better than just, just blue face, blue hands, and that's it. Kind of cheesy, but I guess that's what they had to go with. But yeah, no, I really think I want this to be a multiverse movie. I really do. And like Kevin Feige said before, that's what we're going to get. This is part of the big multiverse arc in the MCU and everything. So, all right, guys. Well, I've held y'all over just a little bit from y'all's day. So I do appreciate y'all coming and being a part of this show. I appreciate all my audience and everything. This is our first podcast and, many more to come along. And hopefully next week we will have Katie Rose be a part of this as well with her discussion. She's a big Marvel fan too. And me and her have discussions all the time going back and forth and everything. So Brandon Ashmore, Jake McAnally, I do appreciate y'all being on here today and everything. Guys, I appreciate y'all sending in y'all's questions and topics that you wanted us to talk about. Next week, we'll talk about a little bit more stuff, more news and everything coming out with Marvel and everything. So, all right, guys, that will do it for our podcast today. So y'all take care and have a good day.